Hello and welcome to MUFC Realist TV. I'm a member of this channel, but you should subscribe or in this show, we're gonna look a cow in the ass. Let's go.
Has the Premier League ever been more challenging?
Welkom. Dit is mijn home and I want to achieve success.
Okay, people, it is success. It's the first kick of the Europa League. We're talking about FC Twente and, of course, Ten Hag's presser. Will he rotate? Who will he start? Will he start strong? It is basically his old team that he used to manage. And, you know, presses are presses. They're funny to listen. Right, Gattuso? Isn't
sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
But hopefully today we get good questions, not shit questions. As per usual, we're going to hear from Ten Hag live on this channel. As per tradition, we always cover this live. So what we want to hear is the team news, who's going to start, what is the potential with the rotation. Will there be rotation? And how do we see on this game so far, people? Like, you know, joining me, coming in late as per usual, he's drinking latte. But, you know, if you take away the H, he becomes late. No other than Mark, late nurse. How you doing, buddy?
Big up, guys. Hope you're well. Hope everyone is having a great day. It's an interesting morning. You know, tomorrow I'm going to London for the game. I'll be there. So hopefully they ask good questions today. I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to see what the team selection is going to be. I hope the media ask some good questions and not waste their time with agendas today, because you know what? We asked for style of play. We got that in the last game. Of course, we didn't score the goals that we expected, but we created more than enough chances to do so.
More than enough.
So
15
I'm looking
shots on target, 67% ball possession mark. No, clean sheets. Again, clean sheets.
Yeah, it's one of those things for me. So I'm just looking forward to see how the performance is. You know, I want to know what they're going to be asking. Big up to Nick Fadley. You know, I mean, I hope they ask questions like, you know, what is the plan? You know, are we going to go forward with more of what we saw this weekend? You know, is the team selection going to impact that going forward? These kind of things. I feel like that's more important to ask and to find out than actually, you know, if there's beef with Marcus Rashford, because I don't believe that there's any beef with Marcus.
No, I mean, listen, the greatest enemy of the club at the moment, it's not Bruno, it's not Marcus, it's not them. It's actually the press itself, right? They're creating this agenda. So, you know, there was three teams in the top flight that drew, but there was no noise about it, you know? We're looking at, you know, Arsenal, City, 2-2, 1 point. Brighton drew as well, 1 point. United, 0-0, drew point. But United should have won that game easily with 3-4-0, right? It was kind of one of these games when the ball didn't fucking want to go into the net. That's it. And Dean Henderson had, like, you know, the game of his life. Of course, it has to be against his old club as well. Yeah, so it is what it is, man. But the style of play, what is it? Identity. I mean, we want high possession-based football. We got 67% possession. We didn't concede shots. We had a clean sheet. But again, we didn't convert the shots. So, of course, we can learn from the positives to this game.
We must. It's one of those imperative things that we must do. I think that, you know, it's good performance we saw this weekend. You know, we saw good control in the game. We saw lots of creation, a solid back line. We want to see more of that going forward. But we really need to solve the clinicality problem up front. Now, that's a two-pronged situation. You know, there's really... The only thing the manager could do is try to rotate the front line to see which one works. But after that, it becomes the players' responsibility to start scoring the goals because they be getting opportunities. And if it's one thing that they're not getting the opportunities created for them, but when they're getting them, it's on them now to put it in the back of the net.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's not the manager's fault. It's the players that didn't convert it. And it's the law of physics. Sometimes it's with you, sometimes it's not. It's marginal, right? So let's take a Garnacho. Garnacho's like beautiful shot hit the crossbar, right? And Bruno on the return, also the crossbar. So that's marginals, right? A little bit lower, a little bit less wind trajectory, the ball would have gone in, you know? And also that tiki-taka two-way Xerxes to Bruno, and Bruno, instead of smashing it, he goes with the outside of his boot, just slides next to the right of the goalpost. So this is kind of what I call law of physics, right? Newton's law.
100%. I mean, it is what it is. Yes, you know, with our game, with some of those moments, it's like, what you could do, you know.
FC Twente, though. FC Twente, what do we know? Erik ten Hag used to manage them. Eredivisie team, right?
What I can tell you is that they're coming back up. They're coming off a decent vein of form in the last few games. They're, you know, one of their young talents has been scoring quite a bit of goals in the last couple of performances. You know, they came off the back of a 5-0 win right now currently. So it's going to be interesting. That's exactly what is going to be the majority of the case, because it's going to be interesting to see what they do in the game. You know, FC Twente is not a bad team. Ten Hag would know a lot about them because he was there at the beginning of his career. You know, they would know a bit about them as well. But I think that, you know, United are the team with the firepower that should get the job done. Because
do you think, I mean, you're going to be there live at the game. What do you expect? Do you see a high-scoring game like we had in the, you know, Carabao Cup, you know, Barnsley? Is that kind of thing what you do expect? Because you're paying good money to fly over and to watch the game and, you know, have the overall experience.
Well, I expect the team to perform well. You know, I expect them to create the same amount of chances, if not more, than they created against Southampton and this recent game against Crystal Palace. I expect them to come out and perform the same way. You know, at least 70 minutes of control of the game, and you know, within those chances, score some of those goals. You know, take your chances and
take it early.
Take it early. And the funny thing for me is that, you know, I feel like they might just do that. We might just see a big scoreline tonight. So it's one of those. We will see how it goes.
We see. Do you expect United to go far deep into Europa League, or do you don't want to jinx it? Do you think they have a chance to winning it?
I do think. What do you mean, United or FC Twente? Oh, you talking about
United?
The Europa League.
Europa League, yes.
I think we definitely have a chance to win the Europa League. I mean, if you look at the competition in the cup, there's no one that you can say is better than United. You know what I mean? There's teams comparable. There's teams on the same level, but no one is actually better than us. So with that regard, we should actually be top contenders to win. Now there's going to be difficult games, and it's how we get through them, and that's on the players, because, you know, like, if you watch their last few performances, you could see there's confidence. You could see that they're trying. You know, they just need to get it all connected. And I think once we start scoring goals consistently in games, it's going to be like a floodgate. We're going to keep scoring because...
Yeah, I think so too. I'm with you on that point, because I've seen it. Like, I've seen the roadmap, and I've seen that we are clicking into gear. Definitely. Like, you know, defensively rock solid. Like, you know, keeping clean sheets is amazing. That was the problem last season. We were leaking too many goals, and the gaping hole in the midfield was too wide open. Now that's shut. Now it's just like, you know, the goal scoring, right? We do have people that can score goals, 100% we do. And another thing that I want to add on to that tally is that Ten Hag, United, cup competitions, they're really good. You know, just take a look at the FA Cup. Nobody everyone ruled us out. You're going to be bad against City, right? But it's cup competition, yeah? Anything can happen. So I do expect us to go far, but I'm not going to jinx it anyway. We're not going to jinx the VAR room. Everyone that is tuning in, please do not forget to like and subscribe. You're tuning into Mark's channel as well. If you're watching the Mark's channels, smash that little thumb, because we're going to cover Ten Hag's presser that is coming up live your way in about 5-6 minutes. Jim Watkins in the house. Hi, Mark, and the chat.
Big up,
Mark.
Mick,
how you doing?
well.
We have Kenny Fan TV saying, what about the league? We need also to focus on the league as well. Well, we are not playing the league, Kenny. We are playing... tomorrow we're playing Europa League. Of course,
I mean, we are focused on every competition. I think
100%.
I think when we start talking about the topic of where should we put our focus, I think we start getting ourselves into the situation of the Arsenal type level of fan base, which is not where we want to be. We're above that. You know what I mean? There's no need for us to focus on anything. We need to fight on all fronts. We are united.
Bro, I'm gonna smell a little bit of my coffee here. And I'm going to get my endorphins up. And I'm going to tell you one thing, Mark. We will smash FC Twente tomorrow. That will give us massive confidence, and then we have Spurs at home on Sunday. So we're going to roast some Spurs on Sunday. What do you reckon? That is the focus, game by game.
Game by game, one game at a time. Every competition, every team we face, we want to win. And I think that's the one thing that we've heard the manager say every single time since he got here. He wants to win every game. He wants to win every competition. And that, I think, is the basis level for any Manchester United fan, standards or manager. There's no focusing on one thing. There's winning everything.
On everything. 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you see, Amir is coming in here. Vic Fikri is saying, I don't know who needs to hear this, but Manchester United is the best team in the world. Jolly Mamin coming in, Spurs, Porto, Roma, Lazio, Frankfurt will be really hard to defeat. I don't think so. Game by game is what we say.
The problem is they might be, but will they be there is the problem. That's the question. Will they be
We will be there. We will be there.
That's what's more important. Once we're there, we can face the opposition at any point in time.
Yeah.
That's my
win, lose,
that's
draw.
my thoughts.
Mark. Win, lose, draw. We're always there, right?
Once we're there, we're always there, bro. I mean, I can't go anywhere with this.
You're branded. You're branded already. Yeah. So listen, road to Europa. What Amaris is saying. Nick Foley, Mark, be realistic this time, man. A lot of comments. Good news. We'll find out what the good news is. Sandra Myers is in the house to say, "Hey guys, how are things?"
Well, things are good. Pretty happy, to be fair. You know what I mean? Well, for me, you know, in that regard, I'm coming to the game tomorrow, so I'm really happy.
You must be stoked, man. Right?
Yeah,
really?
Definitely stoked. It's gonna be an interesting encounter.
I wish I could be there. Irfan is back to say, back in Wonderland. Big up, guys. Big up to you, Irfan, as well. May I join the chat? Of course, you can join the chat. 100%. Anyone can join the chat. We have Nick Fadley to say, it's unacceptable if Man United don't win against a club that cannot even spell 20 correctly.
Well, how do you know they're not spelling 20 correctly, bro?
What is 10 plus 10? Mark?
10 plus 10, 20.
Yeah. What's the name of our manager?
Ten Hag.
10? And we're playing 20 tomorrow, so we have 10-20.
10-20. I mean, it's possible. It's one of those things, but at the same time, I feel like with FC Twente, it's one of those games where we're gonna have to definitely have some. Well, when I say don't fear them, but make sure not to overlook the possibility that they because they're a team in some good form right now, and they might be a lower level league, but.
I certainly think that players are up for it. They are ready for revenge because they didn't score. So we're playing at Old Trafford under the floodlights. It's going to be electric. If you don't rock up for FC 2010 is going to be pissed off. Sandra Myers is in the house as well. Manchester is red forever. Where East Coast, where Mid Coast at? Well, and then we have Sandra Myers saying might be a tough game against 20. Well, I hope Ken has a plan for 20. You know what I mean? If you know, you know. Hopefully we scored 20 against 20. Yes, hopefully. 5-0, Roddy. I didn't say that. I'm not going to jinx it, Roddy. There is something called footballing gods that I religiously believe in, man. So if you go 5-0, that's down to you, my friend. But big up for you as well. Irfan is saying as well, win, lose, it's a privilege to watch Man United play. It's always a privilege. Always. That's why I'm looking forward for the whole of the week. You ask him, what do you look forward for the week? To watch Man United play twice this week.
Well,
that is escapism, right?
It's the most entertaining thing on television for me.
Yeah. Sandra Myers is also contemplating to say we are looking scary. ST, the moment we have to be patient. At the moment, we have to be patient. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, this season is long, people, right? You can't look at the Premier League and judge it as of yet, right? We always start slow and then we pick up points, right? And I believe rivals are also going to pick up points at the end of the day. Listen, manager's presser is about to start. And guys, I'm just going to put this on mute for now because this commercial and stuff. And one thing we don't want to be is done by copywriting, but we can certainly bring you the live presser coming. So keep your comments in there. Get involved in the VR room as well. And don't forget to mark what to do.
Smash those likes and subscribe, people. It definitely helps the channel grow. And as you know, your boys on the road to 10K. Let's get there, but we have to get to 1K to 2K first, and then we have to get Mick Ruby and MUFC Realist TV to 50K, guys. We need to get
and then we have to donate a little bit. Now we have the managers press conference coming up here. Welcome.
Audio. Yeah, I can't hear it.
Really? Wow. I gotta add it again. It's a question in Dutch here.
Eerst het jeugdteam.
It's Dutch.
De jeugdcompetities opnieuw werden opgestart na jarenlang verdwenen te zijn.
Op regelen.
Ja, dus ik heb daar heel veel historie. Diekman, naar het Arkenstadion, naar de Grolsvesten. Ja, in verschillende functies.
Ja.
Fantastische tijd en natuurlijk, dat heeft me veel gebracht. Ja, ik volg het überhaupt het voetbal natuurlijk. Ja, Twente is wel de ploeg die ik het meest volg.
En dan kijk je ook echt, probeer je zaak te druk, joh.
Do we have a translator?
Die wedstrijden ook echt te zien.
Nee, maar dan kijk ik als fan, Joep. Dan kijk ik niet als supporter. Dan kijk ik niet als analist. Normaal kijk je naar een wedstrijd, dan kijk je analytisch. Maar met Twente kijk ik daar niet naar. Tenminste, voor deze wedstrijd.
Dat is waar.
So, Eric, 23 years at Twente. It must have been very special. What did Twente bring you? The answer, Twente has brought me a lot.
Dash. He's drinking Dash.
I was put through their academy. I was part of the generation of the first youth team when the youth competition was started up again after many years. So for me, there's a great deal of history there. The Diekman Stadium, the next stadium, and now the Grolsvesten. The next question was, do you follow Twente? Do you watch them? Do you watch their games? The answer, of all the teams, Twente is the team that I follow the most.
Mm-hmm.
Question, but do you have time to do that? Answer, I watch them as a fan, as a supporter, not as an analyst. It's a different way of watching their games.
Mm-hmm.
Erik, goed te zien. Niet alleen voor jou natuurlijk een speciale wedstrijd, ook voor je assistent, voor René Haak ook. Wat zijn jullie eigenlijk tegen elkaar toen die loting bekend werd?
Ja, die kans zat er natuurlijk wel in de nieuwe opzet van de Europa League. Maar er zijn denk ik heel veel dwarsverbanden tussen Manchester United nu en FC Twente. Dat geldt natuurlijk in de eerste plaats voor René en voor mij, maar ook voor Ruud. Daarbij heb ik ook met een aantal spelers van FC Twente heb ik meegewerkt bij Ajax. Dus ja, er zijn nogal wat verbanden.
Vind je het eigenlijk wel leuk, tegen Twente te spelen?
Ja, het is wat het is, maar ik had liever andere ploegen lood. En nou moet je je liefde pijn gaan doen.
Ja. Nou is het een beetje een confronterende week geweest, afgelopen week voor het Nederlandse voetbal in de Champions League natuurlijk. Welke verwachting heb jij wat betreft het krachtsverschil in de Europa League?
Ja, dat is moeilijk te zeggen, maar het is duidelijk. Ik denk het Nederlandse voetbal heeft denk ik vanaf 2018, 2019 hebben een opmars gehad. We hebben heel veel punten vergaat met Ajax, met AZ, met Feyenoord, PSV vorig jaar ook. Nu lijkt het op. En dan door het succes wat je hebt gehad, en dan speel ik in sterkere competities. En dan lijkt het op dat het nu de andere richting in gaat. En ja, dat proces zal het Nederlandse voetbal moeten zien te stoppen.
Denk je dat dat iets is wat, zijn we in die zin misschien een beetje verwend geweest? Of denk je dat dat nog wel haalbaar is?
Nou, ik heb altijd gezegd dat voor een Nederlandse club is niet zo makkelijk om ver in Europa te geraken. En er waren een aantal teams. Ik denk vooral Ajax. Ik zeg Feyenoord ook de laatste jaren heel veel punten hebben vergaat. En heel ver zijn gekomen in Europa.
The question. Manchester United being picked to play against FC Twente must have been quite a surprise. What did you say to one another about those names being drawn? The answer, well, there's a great deal of connections to and fro between MUFC and Twente, FC Twente, between me and René Haken, me and Ruud. Also connections forged through the various Ajax players that we've all been involved with.
Mm-hmm.
Question, are you pleased to be playing against Twente? The answer, I would have preferred to have played against somebody else. It's not nice to have to hurt something you love. Question, with the developments in the Champions League in the Netherlands lately, has that altered your expectations as to the difference in might between teams in this championship? The answer, Dutch football since 2018 has only been on the rise. We've been scoring a lot of points. Lots of teams have participated in this tournament, AZ, Feyenoord, PSV. But the more success Dutch football has in this arena, the more likely that it may have to start going in the other direction. So the next follow-on question is, have we been spoiled by Dutch football? The answer, it's not always easy for Dutch teams to get very far in a European tournament. But notwithstanding, a lot of our teams, such as Ajax, Feyenoord, have gained a great deal of points and have come far in this competition.
Erik, als je zo lang al met FC Twente verbonden bent, dan heb je natuurlijk al heel veel Europese wedstrijden van Twente meegemaakt. Wat zijn voor jou nou wedstrijden die eruit springen als supporter, als speler, als assistent-trainer? Dat je er een mooie herinneringen moet ophalen. Kun je dan iets noemen?
Een van herinneringen die mij lang is bijgebleven, dat was de wedstrijd FC Twente Ipswich Town. En Twente spelend in Engeland. En daar echt een geweldige wedstrijd speelde. En het voorbeeld was van positiespel. Volgens mij hadden ze over 1 minuut of zo hadden ze de bal.
De ballen,
in bezit. En lieten ze Ipswich lopen. Middenveld met Frans Thijssen, Arnold Muren, hier ook niet onbekend. En Kik van der Val. En dat was een geweldige FC Twente. Dat was denk ik midden jaren 70. En wedstrijden die er zelf bij zijn gebleven. De wedstrijd die wij ooit uit hebben gespeeld tegen Olympique Marseille. Met FC Twente. Toen ik als assistent-trainer daarbij betrokken was. Dat is ook een beeld wat in de herinnering blijft. Wat een geweldige wedstrijd was tegen een geweldig team.
Bij Ipswich, heb je dat vanaf de televisie gezien?
Nee, ik heb vanaf de televisie gezien. Volgens mij heeft de BBC daar ooit zelfs een filmpje van gemaakt.
Van die wedstrijd bedoel je?
Ja, van die wedstrijd. Ja, van het positiespel van FC Twente destijds.
Mm-hmm.
Mooie jeugdherinnering.
Dat is jeugdherinneringen. Ja.
So, Eric, with your long involvement with FC Twente, you must have seen a lot of their games as a player, a coach, and a fan. What memories do you specifically have of any particular games that FC Twente played in the past? The answer, one particularly memorable game that FC Twente played was away at Ipswich Town. It was a very fine example of a position game where we had, where Twente had possession of the ball a great deal. Some of the players in that team were Frans Thijssen, Arnold Muren, Kit van der Val. I think it was sometime in the mid-70s. Wow. And then another spectacular away game for FC Twente that I remember as an assistant trainer was playing against Olympique Marseille. And then the question was, did you attend the Ipswich away game? To which the answer was no. I saw it on TV. I think the BBC actually did a special feature on it because it was such a good example of position play.
Okay, we'll now move on to English questions.
Yes, when they're going to talk about the team news.
Hi, Eric. We're obviously going to see training a little later, but is there anyone going to be back available?
Finally.
No, not no difference to the squad from last Saturday against Palace.
With Luke Shaw, when are you expecting him to be back available? Are you expecting him back before the international break?
I think it's probably, but I can't say it's for 100% sure.
Is that back in training or back available for matches?
The plan is just be back before, but as I say, I can't say this for 100% for sure. That can be also short after the break.
All cup competitions are important, but given the increased competition for a top 4 place in the Premier League and the fact there's a Champions League place for the winners of this competition, does that place extra significance on this tournament for you and for the club as a whole in terms of trying your best to win it?
Yes, I think so, and it's an opportunity, and there are more roads to achieve the targets you want, and this is definitely also a road. Yes, of course, it's the most difficult probably, because in a tournament of 32, you have to be the best. But it's a target, and it's a road we want to go.
So would you say winning this tournament is harder than getting a top 4 place in the Premier League?
That's because in the end you get knockout stage. But I think it's don't look too far ahead from game to game. Let's first do Twente. But as you know, we want to win all the competitions we are taking part in, and this is one of them. But you have to go game by game, and let's first focus on the first game.
Hi Eric, I know the format's in its infancy, but you could finish 24th in this league format and still be in the competition. There are more games. Rodri complained about it last week. Are you a fan of the new format, or do you think it's becoming too much for the players?
I think there are two things you address here. First of all, the format, and the format. I think we have to take this experience and then judge. But one thing is for sure. I think every match is significant, and probably every goal is significant. And first you get also a split after January, where the first 8 teams they qualify, and that can help you in February to continue. But when you're on the first 24, you can win this competition, and so there's always an option to win it. And then the other question, the second part of it, but we discussed it so many times. There is
Injuries.
There are too many games. It's clear. Too many
Too many.
competitions for the top players. They are overloaded, and this is not good for football. In the end of the day, it's maybe good for commercial, but
It's good for commercial. Exactly.
there is a limit, and players getting injured. It's almost
I agree.
unavoidable. The players getting injured. because
Exactly
of
what I was
overload
thinking,
from
Mark.
So many games.
Just on that, does that overload of games and the amount of games that you're going to have to play affect the way that you pick teams, particularly for a game in the Europa League tomorrow, and particularly because of what happened with the injuries last year? Because obviously the injuries just decimated your squad last year and it affected your form. Are you going to be more cautious in the way that you pick teams?
Good question.
For these games and all these competitions?
But in all the games, I did this on Saturday.
Yeah, good answer.
But is that going to have to be the case going forward though as well?
We need a squad with more than 11 to line up. We need more players, and then from game to game, we will pick a team. So, but you can't address it. This is the best 11 in this moment, and we will see. And of course, form is part of it. Tactic, of course, is also part of it. But definitely, the management of the load of the players is definitely part of it.
Hi Eric. So far you've got a goal difference of 0, but you scored 5 goals, so obviously allowed 5 in. I think you had minus goal difference last season. Are you concerned? I know you were without Rasmus Højlund, for example, but he was available last season and you didn't do particularly well. So are you concerned your attack's going to be toothless again this season?
Again,
are you concerned your attack's going to fail again this season, not scoring enough goals?
Concern, we create a lot of chances in the first games of the season. Last week we scored 7 against Barnsley, so we are capable of scoring many goals. But it's a part of the game. We have to be better there. We have to improve. We have to kill more in the box.
With your players, your attackers, is it a mental thing then? Because obviously talented enough, technically to be here, but is it just a sort of mental focus for them to score more, maybe?
I think there are different aspects on this, and most important is that you create chances, and that is what we're doing in this moment. We create a lot of good moments. We are very creative, and we have many opportunities to score goals, and we have to keep this process going. And then, of course, finishing we have to work on.
Eric, just on the games and the loading, how can you as a club change that? Because it seems like this kind of stuff gets made by the authorities and you have to go along with it. Would you have to consider, I mean, Rodri spoke about going on strike potentially as players.
I think as a club alone, you can't change this. It's more about, say, the total industry. It's about clubs and players and coaches, and so many others who are there in the environment of football, who have to work on this to improve the game, but of course to find the right balance, because in the end of the day it's financial, and also we are professional, so revenues has to come, but we have to balance this out.
Last question. Eric, you were obviously talking about having to rotate. You said you did that on Saturday, and when you did, you left out Marcus Rashford, and there was a lot of attention around that. Do you feel we're sometimes too quick to criticise, considering you're trying to balance so much that we probably don't understand what's going on with the players and what's going on behind the scenes?
I didn't understand the criticism in these, but people, they are entitled if they want to, but what they are not entitled to bring speculation in. If I give an explanation, then they have to trust my words and to trust my explanation, and that's not right.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, that's the end of that press conference, Mark. And bro, you were typing like never before. I saw the smoke coming out from your keyboard. But listen, guys, there was the longest press conference I covered so far together with Mark, 18 minutes press conference. Due to we started off with Dutch with translation, but it was good questions. I think it was memorabilia in the beginning, like Ten Hag against his old club, that he spent 20 years, that he said, like, it's going to hurt. I didn't like to be drawn to them because I'm a fan. I watched them as a fan, not as an analytic and XYZ. And they spoke about the history of Dutch football and Feyenoord and Ajax and all that stuff. But I like those questions that came after, Mark, because I've been very vocal about this. Football has become too commercial over players' welfare, right? So I think there was a lot of questions regarding this, the new formation, how about injuries, how about rotation? And the key of our thumbnail today was, will he rotate? And he said pretty much, I've already started doing that because I'm being precautious. Look, last season compared to this season, Mark. I mean, what was your takeaway of this? Like, was it a good press conference? Was it good answers?
Well, it's one thing, Mick, you have to look at it from two perspectives, right? Like, as a football fan, of course, you want to see more football, of course. You want to see great games, of course, as well. But when you think about it, these guys are humans just like you and I. Of course, they do a different kind of job. They probably get paid 10 times or 100 times more than most of us daily for what they do, but they put their bodies through an extreme situation for a long period of time. And they need to get rest. And this is why I keep saying to everyone, why are we so focused on a starting 11 when, we should have a squad and anyone who comes in should be able to impact and perform. Because at the end of the day, we need to relieve these guys. And as much as I like to see a lot of football, I think I'm starting to think that we're taking advantage of the players because, yeah, it's true they get paid a lot of money, but the people who run these things, they make 10 times or 100 times more of that money off of these games and the tournaments.
They do.
They definitely need to understand it's either like, okay, for me with the international football, I think maybe the national countries should try to use more of their national pool of players available. That way you can rotate the players who actually go on international duty as well, as a way to kind of relieve the load on some of the key starters. You know what I mean? Try to win games going in the early stages of the tournaments with other players who are just as skilled in just as top teams around other leagues. Give them a chance to play international football. It would probably even, give them more notoriety, might even draw more fans to watching that football league as well. There's lots of things that could be done, but it has to be done collectively. As one club, Manchester United might be one of the biggest clubs in the world, but we can't affect the change by ourselves. We try. We certainly try. I mean, look,
no.
We're doing a press conference in Dutch, you know what I mean? And we're facing a small Dutch team from Holland. So we always try to facilitate and keep that fair play and always try to highlight the issues. We have the foundations and all these things. But yeah, we have to look after these players because at the end of the day, they're not robots.
They're not robots. And I think he mentioned everything that you said. He said it so well as well. Like, we as a club cannot do it ourselves, right? And he expressed his concern that this is commercial and there's nothing we can do about it. So it's all about TV rights. It's all earning as much as money. But clubs earn a lot of money by just being in Europa League, Champions League, and all cup competitions. But TV rights is massive, right? But I'm very critical in terms of players' welfare. It's like, so that's what he said. Like, I'm ready for it. Come January, I have to just make sure that we are rotating and keeping the players fresh, So that is the progress that we've seen from last season, because he also said it's not about 11 players. It's a full fit squad as well. Like, you got to look at, and that's why we're kind of assembling two squads at the end of the day, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, we need to figure out a way to balance the situation, honestly, because you know what I mean? You want to see good football. Good football comes with fit players being fit, being healthy, not being overly exhausted. Maybe we have to enlarge these squads. Maybe, maybe we have to revisit the extra time, the way we add on extra time, because I feel like really and truly, Mick, like I feel like we're starting to add way too much extra time to games, 10, 15, 20 minutes extra time.
Yeah.
That's a little bit too much, bro. I feel like unless it have a major incident, extra time shouldn't be more than 5-6 minutes max per half. You know what I mean? Maximum you're playing 10 minutes total.
Is it fair to say that it's more catering towards the overall experience, longer games, more games, but do they ever stop and think about, like, the play unions and, injuries? They do play a part, because that can sort of make and break your season. Going back to the English questions, though, they started off to say, what about Luke Shaw? And Luke Shaw, he said it's pretty much the same team as what we saw last time. Everyone is available except Luke Shaw. They were drilling down the question, Luke Shaw. But he feels like Ten Hag doesn't really want to take the chances or risk like he did last season. So he's going to slowly integrate him, right?
Especially with Luke Shaw, man. That guy blamed Manchester United for his injury after he came back from Euros for England. So
really?
I think Ten Hag is giving him a slight side eye with that, because you remember, like, he didn't play for Manchester United most of the season. He was
went to England.
Fit coming to the end. Then he went to play for England. He never played until the final. And then he came back. He had one training session, and then he was injured, and he was in the paper saying, they didn't manage me well. They didn't, take care of me.
Absolutely.
And at some point, the manager is just gonna look at that and be like, bro, like, you didn't even play.
What are you talking
about? We haven't played you for the entire preseason. You get injured in training. This is your fault. This is not on me. And I, for one, as a fan, I'm getting tired of some of the excuses of these players who have not delivered, and they've been here for 10 years. Luke Shaw is the most senior player in our entire squad. He's been here for 11 seasons. 11.
What about the question? What about the question when they say that the claim that Europa League is harder than Premier League, because he said it's a knockout stages and.
Well, actually, they were asking if it was harder to win to get top 4 in the Prem than winning the Europa League. And I mean, it's give and take. There's no do-overs, you know what I mean, in some situation. And the way the new format is, you don't really play teams 2 times until you get to the knockout, and that's when they're home and away. But before that, you play 1 game. So it's 1 game, 8 different teams, and you know, you got to change it. You got to adjust 8 different ways to combat these 8 different teams. So if it could be tricky situation lining up, you know, you also have the Premier League around the same time, and you have to kind of manage both as well. And that's going to be the
you
trick.
have to manage the squad 100%. Now, there was also a journalist that used toothless regarding us finishing the dinner, and then he had to rephrase it because Ten Hag said, "What? I didn't hear you." So he didn't use the toothless and said, "Why are you not finishing the strikes?" But instantly in that moment, I was thinking there's so many explanations for not finishing a goal, right? It could be aerodynamics, it could be the wrong angle, it can be just a wind, it can be like anything, because I used to play as a striker as well. So you miss chances. Sometimes you get 7 chances, you score 1, right? So that's football, baby. Like, you know, so there's never an explanation why you're not scoring goals, right? Even if you're creating like 15 chances in a match.
I mean, you know, it's not rocket science, you know what I mean? It's not a computer program. There's not always an explanation and definition and, you know, this detailed situation on why. The why, bro, literally in a moment, you could be kicking the ball in the best possible posture ever, and just suddenly in that one moment, your foot slipped. I know everything is undone because you know what, the ball going over bars. You know what I mean, for me, it's a difficult responsibility playing as a striker. To be fair, it's something I never wanted to do as a young man.
Yeah, but I just going back to the pressure of the young lad. Yeah,
it's a lot of pressure.
It's pressure.
And a lot of fans, I think they need to understand that, you know, looking at the forward line that we have, you know, is a young attacking lineup. And the only senior player there is Marcus Rashford. You can't really say to these young men, you have to be that guy.
Just go back in memory lane, guys. Everyone in the VR, and please do not forget to smash the like or whatever channel on platform. Just go back in memory lane. I'm just going to refresh everyone's memory. We signed young Rasmus Højlund, who single-handedly carried the burden of scoring goals, right? It took him 3 months almost till he scored his first goal at United. But when he scored it, did you remember his reaction, his relief?
It wasn't 3 months though, Mick. He scored in the Champions League in the first game. It was Premier League. It took
in
3
the
months
Premier
to
League.
score.
Yeah.
So,
but you get my drift. You get my point.
Yeah, I get it.
So when he scored, the relief it was just like and then he started to score. Same thing happened to Rashford. Like, you know, for a very long period of time, he was not really performing. He was making it very difficult instead of keeping it simple. And all of a sudden, he looks fresher. He looks sharper. He's been taking instructions from Ruud van Nistelrooy, and he started to score goals, right? So it's all about confidence. Like a striker needs to have confidence. And it comes down to Xerxes. Somebody said here in the comment as well, I'm just going to look back where that Xerxes comment went. Somebody makes, Yorkshire Cowboy saying, Xerxes is a decent link-up play, but never signed as a striker. So that is exactly what I see it as well. Nobody else across Europe could see it either, but Erik ten Hag bought him in anyway. Because, okay, I've spoken so much about Xerxes. I've done videos about Xerxes. And Xerxes himself said in an interview that I'm not a striker, I'm a 9.5, right? So he's the guy that's part of the build-up, right? Linking up the play, linking up others, and selfishly, when he gets an opportunity, he arrives late in the box and scores, right? But having such a player like Xerxes can benefit a lot. And we saw it last game when we subbed Xerxes off. The whole attack just collapsed, right? People don't understand that a striker sometimes is there to facilitate, not always to score, right? So it doesn't really matter who scores as long as we score, right? So Martial used to be that player as well, like play with the back against the goal and selfishly.
True, but you know, for me, okay, I get that type of striker, but that is not a striker for me. I mean, I be so honest, like I don't believe in those kind of strikers. For me, they're okay, they're good players and all that, but I need a striker who's a prolific goal scorer. At the end of the day, goals win games, not linking up with the rest of the team, scoring the goals.
Yeah, but then that is
somebody who's going to
Sweden.
take the responsibility to take that strike. It's just funny for me because a lot of the guys got into the box in that game and they dribbled or passed. Kobe was dribbling every chance he got in the box rather than taking a shot. He took one shot all game and he had 4 chances in the box where he dribbled, pass a player and pass the ball. Why not take a shot? Now, a lot of people just talk about XG rated shots. Bro, I never start watching football because people scoring tap-ins. I start watching football because people scoring screamers. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I like the fact that Joshua Zirkzee could link up well. Definitely, it makes us have the ability to change things in a different type of way. You know, that will be good. He will develop. I think he will become a more prolific goal scorer with time.
Remember when he scored on his debut, and everyone, how the hell did he score that goal? Because it looked like a deflection, but it was a good goal.
It's a good flick on, and to me, it's like with have different types of strikers. You know, like for me, I would say he's a forward more than he's a striker. Because a striker for me is a guy who prolific
like a Haaland strike. Yeah.
I don't even think Haaland is a striker because he's not a prolific goal scorer. He needs someone to provide him with a chance to tap the ball in the end. But if you talk about a prolific goal scorer, you're talking about guys like, you know, like Aguero and Mbappe and these kind of strikers, because they could take on their man one-on-one. Haaland can't dribble anyone. You know what I mean?
True then.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it have a definition of a striker and then it have forwards. You know, so I feel like if he's a top forward, he will be top for Manchester United.
Good point.
With his performances.
You speak sense. That is a good point because it's too early to even judge the kid, right? You know, he's still young. Same with Højlund as well. And the point is that he's only played like 5 games in United shirt as of yet, maximum 6. It will take you some time. And breaking news, what Irfan is saying, Milan was told that they made a mistake not buying Zirkzee. So who is everyone in Europe you're referring to? So listen, bro, I would like us to see, and I've been singing from that hymn sheet, right? Because for me, the prolific goal scorer, the role is always going to be Rasmus Højlund. He's still developing. But him and Zirkzee together with the back 3, I'm talking about 3-5-2, right? That's what I think that Ten Hag eventually wants to do, like a partnership like Yorkie and Cole used to be, right? If you remember, if you're old enough, you remember. But in this situation, I see more of Højlund being more of the prolific goal scorer, the fox in the box kind of thing, and you know, Zirkzee being the link up, like, you know, providing, you know. So we haven't seen much of it yet. We are starting to see patterns. Definitely, we've seen improvement. We're keeping clean sheets. So now we've kind of solidified that midfield and the gaping hole and the defense. Now it's time to work on the attack, and that's where you have Ruud van Nistelrooy.
True, you know, I mean, I think Van Nistelrooy came in to do a job to help with the strikers, maybe help giving advice and you know, giving insight, because experience is invaluable. Can they work together? It's something left to be seen.
We haven't seen
it.
I
mean,
no.
We haven't seen it. I don't think we will see it soon. You know, there might be 1 or 2 odd games where you might see them on the pitch at the same time. You know, but to go from currently where we are right now to a 2-striker formation, I don't think that's going to happen this season. That might be next season or the season after. At first, we have to conquer one formation first. We have to get consistent at doing one thing good first. You know, I don't really think that we, you know, it's a weird one. It's a weird one because, you know, I know a lot of people want to go to that, you know, 2-striker formation, but United will never play a back 3, bro. That's one thing we will never do at Man United. We've never done it before.
I want to stick on that point, Mark, and I want to continue there because I feel that there's a topic that not a lot of people talk about, and that is formation of partnerships on the pitch, right? And understanding, right? You got to understand that these players, we recruited 7 players in, right? And they're still trying to find a way, like, to get to know each other's runs and everything. It's like you starting a new job and you're a little bit lost. You don't have the orientation. It's like, hey, where's the toilet? Where's the bathroom? Where's the stapler? Where's the copy machine? You know what I mean? Same, until you understand. So we are now starting to see formations and partnerships building up. I'm talking about an exceptional right back that we recruited in terms of Mazraoui. already slotted in perfectly fine, developing a solid partnership, you know, with De Ligt and with his winger Amad Diallo. You know what I mean? So, and we bought a new CDM in like you know what's Ugarte as well. So he hasn't played a full 90 minutes. I think that's so important because I think we're seeing that partnership formulating in front of Onana, and Onana is doing fantastically well now. He's got confidence because he knows that De Ligt and Licha will protect him, right?
True, but even that partnership could be in doubt come the end of the season because I mean with Lenny Euro coming in, he could bench one of those guys. We can't say no to that.
He could. But my point is that the partnership up front is still under development, the attacking line, right? We're seeing that in the last game, and I made a point that, you know, both wingers, and we talked about Ahmad and Garnacho, were playing very high up, pinning the fullbacks, like not letting them. So that was actually part of the investigation press, right? And running from behind, constantly runs. So I don't see we are there yet in the attack. But we can see patterns what they want to do. You know, as soon as we formulate everything, like the defense is there, the midfield is there, just attack. It's the final tweak. That's the final tweak. And I think that United will actually be a killer machine.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are a lot of it to have to be around. I mean, we're in a situation right now where it's quite interesting because United have all this opportunity. I mean, we have so many games this season with a squad that I would say much revamped, much stronger than last season. It might not look it right now, but I think this squad is much stronger than last season. And we have a lot of potential all over the place and a lot of unknown, especially in attack.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree. I agree with what Jack is saying here. Man, continue. I just totally agree.
I mean, it's possible that they would hit it off like thunder and lightning. It's possible, but I don't think that it will be a, you know what I mean? Like, I would like to see Xerxes play with Højlund in a game to see how the link up will work. I'll be honest and say that. But realistically, if Bruno at his best, because I just think he started the season poorly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's normal. Sometimes footballers just have a bad start to the season. If Bruno at his best, there's no way Joshua Zirkzee could bench Bruno. You know what I mean? So what are we going to do? Play Joshua Zirkzee ahead of Bruno at his best? That makes no sense.
Okay,
but
fine.
But if the form continues the way it continues, and you know circumstantially he's not continuing to have bad games, and Joshua Zirkzee is improving, then of course start Joshua Zirkzee, give Bruno some rest, let him reset. But it's all circumstantial, and it's how depending on the performances going forward, I guess this will define who the core attackers will be going forward to the end of the season, because I think we're still looking to find out who is the best upfront partnership in terms of attackers.
That's kind of the core of what I want to say. We're still trying to figure out each other runs, you know, how we're going to score. For me, it ain't matter who fucking scores as long as that ball goes in, right? And Sim is saying Southampton, Barnsley, everyone was saying you can't only what's in front of you. Then we play Palace and what? Look, you know.
What do you mean by that?
I just don't know. But anyway, and Yorkshire Cowboy is saying, like, and I can criticize the team that I supported for 40 years whenever I want. 100%. You know what? And that's the beauty of football. And that is so beautiful by being a fan, because you guys see it from this perspective. Mark sees from this perspective. I see it from my perspective. And it is an emotional game. Like, you know, you get very emotional attached, right? So the most frustration was that last game we didn't score, but we see what was going on the pitch. We're the far more better team in terms of possession, in terms of shot. We didn't concede much. Onana saved, you know, a double save, amazing save. But sometimes the ball just doesn't want to go in, and it's football, like, right? So
I mean, it's the weirdest thing, you know, Mick, because in that situation, after you watch good performance and then no goals, you don't know who to blame. You know, you don't know who to curse. You don't know who to say what to, because the tactics work. I mean, of course, we could say at the end of the day, maybe in hindsight, the substitutions that he made at the end didn't work. But when you look at
but he had to do it. He had to do it because, you know, Oliver Glasner,
Yeah, Glasner changed he went from 4-3-3 to 3-5-2, and then went to a 5-4-1.
Yeah,
you know
to
what I
a back
mean?
five.
And this was all to stop the tactics, because every time he changed,
Yeah, he was
Ten
shitting
Hag's
his
tactics
pants.
slightly changed. So
He was absolutely shitting his pants because we were peppering them. He didn't have an answer, so he went for a back five. And then Eric and I responded to say, okay, all right, I put in my other weapons in. Right? I put in Rashford, he's on form. I put in Højlund because he can potentially score. But it didn't work out. At the end of the day, it didn't work out. So my point is, and I always have a rational point here to say that, look, sometimes a 0-0 or a draw takes away the positive of a game. Like, I think that that last game was the best game of football I've seen. Even from a neutral perspective, I step aside from myself and I said, that was the most perfect game I've seen Ten Hag execute since, ever since he joined, kind of thing. Because everyone was on par. Everyone was working for each other. Everyone was pressing, defending. But the only thing that didn't work, that the ball didn't go in. If we had scored 1-0 or 2-0, it would be a total different reaction from the fan base.
100%.
But if you dissect, if you watch it again, it was a perfect performance.
Yeah, it's a difficult one.
Perfect.
It's a difficult one. I wouldn't say perfect, but I would say it's more of what we want to see. But we want to see it and have goals. You know what I mean? So I could totally understand Simpson being upset because we played so well and couldn't score goals.
Yeah, but that's the emotional part of you that comes out instead of being more rational. Just take a step back and see. Look at the overall game. Rewatch it again. Look at the patterns of play. Look at this.
The one thing I will disagree with him is being so mad that we're in 11th place after 5 games. I mean, at which point in which league, in what season did this point in the season really matter in terms of where?
Yeah, but what if we come back? We will come back stronger and stronger. And I'm a realist at the same point. Like, I'm saying, talk to me after 5 games. If we haven't made any progress in the points tally, then it's a totally different story, right? But it's not even, Ineos back Ten Hag. They said he's a guy. The recruiting technical director say we're going to set the identity of play. So it's collectively on everyone. It's not just on the manager. Just because a team doesn't score, it's not the manager's fault. It's actually the team on the pitch that didn't finish, right? So how can that be the manager's fault?
I mean, you're always going to have the different opinions, and that is fine. That is football. No one sees the same thing. Like, I might disagree with Yorkshire, but he could be right. You know what I mean? He could be totally right. I might disagree. One thing I will strongly disagree with is being stressed out before 10, 15 games of the season is played.
Yeah,
because at no point in time you're truly, you're gonna just anyone's performance really, because we've always started slowly as a united team, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, we have
seasons where we won under Sir Alex. We started slowly. So.
Okay, I'm gonna close that question off, but in a way, like, I'm just going to use something else, because we came off the Barnsley 7-0 game with confidence. In the first 15 minutes, we went for the kill. We pressed the kill switch. We want to kill them off. And we kept dominating at home turf, right? Crystal Palace last season, we were battered with 0-4, right? And as a away team, it's almost impossible to dominate a team for 2 halves, right? So we lasted about 70 minutes until Glasner made the change. And Glasner, by the way, is a very, very progressive coach. He's not a pragmatic defensive coach.
He parked the bus, bro.
He parked the bus, bro.
Literally parked the bus.
Yeah. He went up in the ring against Conor McGregor, and we almost did for a tap out, and he didn't know what to do, right? Almost threw it in the towel, but he switched it up by parking the bus, just not to lose the game.
I mean, I wouldn't. I think that you have to look at it from a perspective where. What is your definition of the performance? Because look at it from my perspective, I think Crystal Palace could not handle the tactics we employed at no point in time and then they had to park the bus. And at that point in time, they made it very difficult for United. But at which point, most of our players were tired, so we made substitutions, and those players weren't able to make an impact. So that's not really a manager's fault. That actually, for me, is on the players. They need to perform. They need to deliver. At the end of the day, the manager not just lacing up the boots to kick a ball. So, if he put you in every situation possibly to win the game, you got to win the game. And
Yeah, but the
reality
mentality is there. The mentality is there. He even said it in the
course.
presser right now. We listen to. So, you know, we got to look at game by game, and win everything. The mentality is there, and the manager has still that into the players' minds as well. Guys, and they started to get the point. Question from Flex. Question: if we lose back to back against Spurs and Villa, you think Ten Hag gets another game?
I mean, yeah. First of all, you gotta ask yourself this: is Ineos a professional entity, or are they there for jokes? Because if they went through 5-6 managers in interviews this summer, and Erik Ten Hag was the guy they stuck with, do you think they could sack him really and have face value for Manchester United fans and respectable face value anyway in football if they sack him before the Christmas? No, bro.
Okay. No, bro.
I'd say, sound, you know,
listen,
I'm
gonna
mean,
say,
like, for me, I just saying that, you know, we can't really judge this team until all the players who we bought at least played 3 to 5 consecutive games, and until that happen, you can't really judge this team. So,
Mark,
you know.
I'm gonna pin something new. You can clip this. For years, we've been hearing "trust the process." Trust the process. I'm gonna switch it around and say "trust the progress."
Yeah, trust the progress, bro. Like, everybody was sim, bro. We was talking about style of play all last season. You seen our style of play, and now we're talking about, you know, we're gonna say what, two wins, 2 losses, 1 draw,
last
0
season,
goal difference.
Last season,
Bro.
the major topic was injuries, conceding too many shots, 15 different centre back pairings. Now and the gaping hole in the midfield. Now we fixed that. Now we're saying, what is the style of play? Well, it's actually a possession-based football, pressing high up and totally dominating ball, right? It's about having ball possession and, you know, and kill the game. Even Ten Hag said it in the press conference. Now, the only piece of the puzzle now, there's nothing else to talk about.
It's finishing.
The style of play. It's finished.
Finishing.
So it's all about, it's about finishing right now. And eventually, you can't play a whole season or game without even, you know, being able to finish. So eventually, I believe that we are going to find, you know, our finishing boots at the end of the day. So if everything else has been fixed, it's just the final piece of the jigsaw puzzle there to score goals.
100%. It's just, yo, guys, I know I might be, I know it's not about the manager for me, you know, but this squad, if you look at the squad that we just built, we just brought in 5 new players into the squad. And then it are players who were unfit last season. They need time. They need time to gain chemistry, to play each other. We haven't seen the best out of the squad just yet. You know, so I don't want to be talking about sacking a manager, right, when the squad now starting to find chemistry and rhythm. That makes no sense. You know, in one aspect we could talk about standards, but you know, for me, it's like at the end of the day, you have to achieve standards. Standards is not just you set up, you say this is standards and operate. That don't work like that. You have to achieve those standards. You know, everybody has to recognize that these are the standards that you always put your first foot and effort down for. And in the last decade, we have not been maintaining the standards of Manchester United Football Club. So,
but in a way, when you talk about standards, that means that everyone has to put in a shift in training and behave. And, you know, we spoke about the headache of who would start against, you know, Crystal Palace. Would it be a Rashford or would it be a Garnacho? He picked Garnacho, right? And then people will complain, well, why didn't he start Rashford? Well, that is... You know,
last season it was why wasn't he dropping Rashford, Mick? I
I
just looking at it like this: give the manager and this team 10 to 15 games. I'm pretty sure you will not be disappointed because we could win. Because I saw that comment said we could lose the next 2 games. What if? But if we win the next 2 or 3 games, we're back in top 4, bro. Like,
yeah, bro.
You know, that means those 2 teams drop out of top 4. So
I got a little bit of stick yesterday because there was a, you know, a Q&A section in Jarvis's Corner, and somebody in the chat wrote, like, you know, who is the biggest threat and danger to Manchester United at the moment? Is it Erik Ten Hag, Bruno, or there was somebody else, another player? Everyone answered the question. You know what I said? I said the biggest danger for Manchester United at the moment is the media and the fan base.
100%. We need to have patience. At some point, we need to realize that we could want everything, but without time, we can't establish nothing. And if we want to win now, cool. But I want to win forever, bro. I want to win every season. You know, in order to build that dynasty, you need to take your time, plan it properly, work trial and error. You need to get a system that works for you and then enact it. And we have been doing just those things. Oh, Ray Carl, bro, you know, I'm supposed to meet Tenno and the guys at the Bishop's Blaze around 3 p.m. tomorrow. So, you know, if you pop through there, you'll see me. I'll buy you a beer, bro. Big up.
Yeah, yo. Go to the Bishop Sounds, man. But listen, you know, Irfan's saying here, quite adequate, like, you know, why even discussing Ten Hag sack now? That's what my point is, that if you're sacking Ten Hag, you're better off sacking, like, you know, the whole board, right? Because they're the ones that pointed him. They were the ones say he's the guy. And there's also even media reported that Jason Wilcox is setting the style of play. You know what I mean? They were the one heavily involved in the recruitment. They were the one also letting go 17 players, right? To
100%.
Optimize the squad. So they're all in it together. That's the thing.
Here, the next thing, we finally get our coaching staff that is capable of coaching for the attacking, possessive style of play we want to play.
Set play.
We just get new players. We just get a new structure, and everybody panicking. We get, you know, we asking for this for years, Mick. This is what we're making me laugh. We asking for these things for years. We finally
you get it, and then you see
we still panicking.
You know why I think it's so? Because we've been so used to being abused over the past of the Glazers' stewardship, right? So the PTSD, some people call it PTSD, but we always need to complain and moan about something. So we fix this, now let's find another angle. Like, you know, you look around at our fellow channels, some people are way too PMS overreactive and just throwing the toys at the pram, right? Without saying stop, like, you know, think longer, think logical, and be mature about it. But hey, here we are.
I mean, we're not living in 2020 still, right? Because, I mean, COVID has been done and gone, done and dusted for the most part, right? You know what I mean? That the pandemia is gone. So, I mean, for those guys that living in last season, it's kind of the same thing. You know, maybe we should be still wearing masks today. I mean, I'm not trying to make fun of you or anything, but I just feel like, you know, at some point in time, guys, we have to leave the past in the past, you know, and when we get a brand new structure that take over the helm of control of football and operations, the past operations at Manchester United no longer is the present. So that's a major change. Now, we might still have Ten Hag and some of the players might still be here. The Glazers are still here. But the way the football gonna be run has changed.
Yeah.
So
it's all about commercial.
Yeah, I mean,
But listen, a final piece before we close the shop. Like, I just thought about it. You know what? You know what the cure is for this?
No.
Trick question. Winning games. Yeah?
Exactly. Yeah, well, yeah, I can agree.
As soon United is on a winning game, everyone will be on the euphoria and dopamine's FC, right? Remember first season Ten Hag when he won, when he lost, and then he went on an 11 streak, or was it 14 games winning streak without losing, right? The whole entire fan base went behind him. Everyone was happy, euphoric. We were like unbeatable. We were the invincible. Remember, this is the only way to change fans' thinking, right? By winning games. But as soon as you draw or lose, you know, you start to being like, you know, personally, mentally not feeling well. So that's the only cure, is by winning game by game. Yes? No?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the only thing gonna change things, you know, guys. So like the guys saying in the comments, you know, have your say, have your opinions. Definitely 100%. Criticize the manager, criticize the things you don't like that you see. But at the end of the day, have faith in Manchester United, because, you know, this structure for me, and I think everyone could agree that they've done good things, you know, so far. They've shown us that they're looking to do great things. They have ambition. And while some of you might not like the fact that they kept Ten Hag, some of us do, you know, at the end of the day, we could say 90% of the things they've done across the fan base, we could all agree on it.
Yeah.
And I think that's grounds for us to trust them. That's just me.
Like Walt Moldemar is saying, it's kind of tickling a little bit my train of thought as well, because I think that majority of the Twitter fans, social media fans, expect us now to go and challenge and win the title and get up into X, Y, Z, right? But, you know, you look at a total new squad build that will challenge. I mean, the whole master plan is to bring back Manchester United to the top again, right? And that comes down to how we recruit, how we then go, and Vivell is going in to buy the best talent around the world, like 16, 18 years old, and just fill them up, right? So listen, I have no expectations this season other than finishing top 4 and go deep and potentially win Europa League and some cups, right? But that's progress. That's progress where we were sitting last season, and then we go on a trajectory from there, right? That is fair assessment, right?
Yeah, it's fair assessment. You know what I mean? And it's just going to be how we take it going forward from here, how we do things, how we construct things. I think it's definitely going to be interesting. Let's see how it goes. And yeah, big up. Mick, I do have to run. I have to get ready for class.
Yeah, no problems. No problems. We're just going to want to thank everyone.
Big up to all you guys in the chat. Big up to, hope you guys had a great time and it was an informative stream. Mick is back now. He's back in action. So
I am back in. But listen, guys, listen. You know this guy, right? You know this guy, right? Whenever you say Ugarte, he comes up. But guys, just a final thought. Just trust the progress, right? Believe. If you're a Man United supporter, I understand you can be hurt, you can be everything, but it's not catastrophe. Catastrophe. You know what I mean? Catastrophe. So I got to let him down. Anyway, beautiful people, thank you so much. We are back in action. And Mark, we see you tomorrow in action from Old Trafford.
Yeah, if you do a live like around 3-4 p.m.
Yeah, of course you will be there outside the stadium.
You can show you around.
Yeah, sure. And bring Alien Tenno and everyone on. And so 100%.
Yeah, Ray Carlos said he's gonna meet us there as well. So all the guys, if you're coming to the game,
everyone.
By the way, guys, I might end up with an extra ticket. You know what I mean? So guys,
give it to me. I come straight away. Beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah, beam me up, bro. Yeah, I think I might because my buddy couldn't make it to the game, and I'm not sure if I could get it refunded. So yeah, I might have to do something about it.
To round things up, there was one of the best press conferences I've covered so far because he had everything from memorabilia of him being a fan, of meeting his fan club, what he loves. He doesn't want to hurt them, but at the end of the day, he's the Manchester United manager, to the team news and everything. And what a great footballing conversation we had, Mark. 100%.
So guys, stay tuned for more. Mick and Mark will be back this week.
Tomorrow?
Maybe depends on the time tomorrow. If you do the 3 o'clock stream, I will be there. But because I remember, I will be at the Bishop's Place.
Good luck.
So
depends on if you're
interesting one tomorrow. But guys,
depends on listen. It depends on if you catch good Wi-Fi or mobile coverage, because you know how it is at Old Trafford.
Yeah. That's what I told you. I'll be at the Bishop's Place around then, so that I should have good coverage there. It should be fine. And hopefully we can see some of the guys pull up.
Yep. You know what to do, guys. For Mark's channel, and this has been brilliant, Mark. Good to see you back. Good to be back. And we shall see you tomorrow, guys. Glory, glory, Man United. Mick and Mark is out. The M&Ms. I am the peanut, and you are what? I don't know.
I'm always the chocolate M&M, bro. Always.
See you guys. Bye for now.
Big up.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.